What's up, gaming heroes? It's good to see you once again. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a unique new feature coming in Shadowlands. But first, I want to check my my weekly mythic chest cache thingy majig. The thing we're actually going to be looking at in this video is very similar to this, which I thought very interesting. And we're going to be looking at exactly what you need to get your best piece of gear each week. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. All you guys need to do is smash that like button, click subscribe, and remember to hit the bell icon on the subscribe so you guys can be notified when I actually upload a video. I'm going to click it and see how we get on. Come on, how do we get on here? Okay, so we got Swarm's Edge. Someone told me you can't get weapons from these chests. You absolute fibbers. I just got a freaking weapon. Yes. Oh yeah. And Shrine of Storm's 10. Jesus Christ, that's a good weapon. 465, 35 corruption. Corruption I don't really care about too much, but hey ho. Jesus Lord, that is awesome. I already got weapon enchants in my bags because I'm an organized guy. What can I say? Okay, so to get into the actual meat of this video, we're going to be talking about a new concept. It's very similar to how it's been in BFA. However, it's new in how it works. It works completely differently to how it works in BFA. The Great Vault. A weekly objective, much similar to the chest which we just opened. And rewards in Shadowlands. So basically, this Great Vault will give you one or maybe even more rewards based on what content you've done in World of Warcraft. So if you've just done a bunch of mythics, you can get basically some good gear and you get multiple pieces depending on what you've done. We're going to go through exactly what is in this chest and how you can get it in the most efficient way possible. Remember to hit that like button. Let's go. The Great Vault is the Shadowlands equivalent of Mythic Plus and PvP Weekly Cache on Battle for Azeroth, but it has evolved to allow both choice in the content you complete, get your weekly chest, and choice in what you get out of your chest. Currently, your weekly Mythic Plus cache rewards you with a random piece of dungeon loot for your class/spec. The item level of which is based on the highest Mythic Plus dungeon that you completed for the week, with a 15 plus giving the maximum possible item level. You will only receive the weekly cache if you completed a Mythic Plus dungeon the previous week. So as for this week, myself, you saw that I got a 465 piece of gear. I believe I got that because I completed a Mythic 12 successfully. So I got quite a high piece of gear. If I did a Mythic 15, I would have got an even higher piece of gear. So shame on me for just not being too much of a lowly scrub to complete that stuff yet. In Shadowlands, the Great Vault will work similarly, but it will allow you to receive a reward for completing a Mythic Plus dungeon, a raid, or for participating in PvP. If you complete more content, you earn yourself a choice of items, which is going to be interesting. So the more content you complete, if it's Mythic Plus, and you do a raid, and you do some decent PvP, you're going to get offered what rewards you want, instead of being a disappointment chest where it's like, oh, take the item, that's what you get. Like Blizzard have done very much for PvP. You know, if I wanted to do PvP and BFA, I basically earn conquest points and I get whatever item Blizzard decides it wants to give me. Not the case anymore. And it's the same for the chest. If I do a bunch of mythics and I get an item that I don't really want, tough. There's no like refund. I can't change it or swap it for anything else. I don't get a choice, which has sucked. And I think Blizzard have come to realize that they need to give their players the choice, the opportunity to decide their own fate, to gear how they want to gear. That's why PvP vendors are back. That's why we're getting this change with the chest where we get to choose what piece of gear we have rather than just be given what they say we are being given. And a lot of the time, these rewards aren't very good if they are just given. Especially if you've been doing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Note, you will only ever get one item. Completing additional objectives only increases the number of choices from which you can select your one piece. So if you are focused on Mythic Plus, you do a bunch of Mythic Plus, and then you do some PvP, and then you do some raiding, you will get a choice of items rather than just being given just the one piece. The Great Vault and how it works. Completing objectives each week adds a potential item to your Great Vault. Once a week on reset, you will be able to open the Great Vault and select one item from the items that were added to your vault the previous week. This should make getting a specific piece of loot and upgrades significantly easier, although there is certainly still a random factor. Okay, so it's basically just confirming what we already know, that it is still random. But we should get more choice based on doing more content. Completing the following objectives adds your choices to your vault. Defeat 3 raid bosses. So if you turn up to, say you were in a casual guild and you do like 1 raid a week, you're probably down like 3 to 7 bosses. Depends how good your guild are. If you're in a semi-hardcore, you'll probably get the whole dungeon done, and that should give you basically 3. I believe it's 3. Add items to the Great Vault by completing activities each week. Okay, so defeat 3 raid bosses. So if you defeat 10 raid bosses, you get a choice of 3 items, basically. And that's the very max you can get from just raiding. So if you did that, and then you completed 10 mythic dungeons, you then get 6 items to choose from. Then if you did the PvP, where you earn 875 conquest points, which is quite easy, to be honest, in a week, you would then get 9 items to choose from. So you get the highest chance. And this is all obviously random, as it says here. It's still random factored. But 9 times random, you're going to get a really good piece of gear. And if you're desperate like I was to get a weapon, you can get something absolutely insanely good. So that is really good to see. The Great Vault Raid Objectives. Keeping in mind that you will be able to choose only 1 item, and that completing objectives increases the number of items from which you get to choose. Completing raid objectives adds raid gear options to your pool. The quality of the raid loot that you get to choose from is currently determined by the highest difficulty you completed each of these requirements at. So if you complete the raid bosses, say you complete 10 raid bosses, and you defeated them all, but you only did it in normal, you're not going to get as good gear as if you completed them in heroic. So the difference in quality of the items is going to matter. So it's not worth just kind of doing everything at the lowest level possible. It's worth definitely doing the highest of each. And Blizzard have already said that if you focus on one specific path of power within World of Warcraft, you will get 95% of the rewards from that. The extra 5% just comes from doing all the other content at the same time. I know myself, I'm going to be massively focusing on Mythic Plus, PvP as my secondary, and raiding. Obviously, raiding. The thing with raiding is you can only do it like a couple nights a week usually. So it's pretty hard to just focus on raiding when I've got all this other content that I could be doing all the time. You know, that's the difficulty with that. I will be doing my best in raids, and I will be attending every single raid possible. But my focus is going to be the content that I can do constantly, you know. Great Vault Mythic Plus objectives and rewards item level. For Mythic Plus dungeons, the item level is determined by the highest /4th highest /10th highest key that you completed for the week. What this means, if you completed fewer than 4+ dungeons in a week on reset, you would get 1 item offered in your Great Vault. Its item level would be based on the highest level dungeon that you completed. If you completed more than 4 but fewer than 10 Mythic Plus dungeons in a week, on reset you would get 2 items offered in your Great Vault. The first one's item level would be based on the highest level dungeon that you completed. The second one's item level would be based on the 4th highest level dungeon that you completed. You're going to get, basically, so say at the start of the week you do like a +4. And then towards the end of the week, you've geared up a bit from just doing, you know, hard work, and you're able to complete a 10 or 11, you know. And at that point, you're able to say, okay, I want a better piece of gear, so that it will give you the option of the lower piece of gear and also the higher piece of gear, which is kind of cool. I like that. If you completed more than 10+ mythic dungeons in a week, on reset you would get 3 items offered in your Great Vault. The first one's item level would be based on the highest level dungeon that you completed. The second one's item level would be based on the 4th highest level dungeon that you completed. The third one's item level would be based on the 10th highest level dungeon that you completed. Boom. These numbers are based on the levels of actual dungeons completed, not on the levels alone. Also note that the order in which you complete the dungeons is irrelevant. Your keys will be sorted from the highest to the lowest. Here's how that works. During a week, let's say you complete the following keys: plus 15, plus 15, plus 50, blah, 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 blah. Your first reward will be a mythic level 15 reward. That's the highest key. Yep. Your second reward will be a mythic level 14 reward. Fourth highest key. Okay, so if you want to maximize results, you need to make sure you're doing plus 15 4 times, right? Because that way you'll get it for your highest, and then you'll also get it for your fourth highest as well. Your third reward will be a mythic level 10 reward, 10th highest key. Okay, so that makes complete sense actually. If you are now at maximum number of choices for completing the mythic content, you can still complete more Mythic Plus dungeons without compromising the item levels that you've earned, and you can work towards raising the item level of your choices. In the above example, completing 3 more Mythic Plus dungeons at 11 or above will raise the item level of your third choice. Completing 1 at 15 plus or above will raise your second choice, and of course completing anything over 15 will increase your first choice. Boom, I love that. As you complete the objectives, you can move mouse over the completed objectives to get more details about what item level loot will be rewarded for completing that objectives. The UI lists your highest 5 keystones and let you know what you will need to upgrade your current reward choice for that objective. You can complete any lower level keystone at that point without affecting the choices that you earned. For example, if you would be able to have your friends and spam plus 6s and mythic dungeons objectives will not be effective. That's great. That is awesome. So I can do like Mythic Plus, but then, you know, drop to like a lower key to like do some Mythic Plus with my family, because obviously my family kind of work a little less on the game. They've got, you know, IRL jobs and they've got to do that. So it's a bit harder for them to kind of get to that Mythic Plus at 15 straight away. So that's going to be great. So I'm still going to be able to play, you know, lower level mythics, but again, it's going to be one of those. Okay, the Great Vault PvP objectives, once again, keeping in mind that you will be able to choose only one item, and that completing objectives increases the number of items from which you get to choose. Completing PvP objectives adds raid PvP options to your pool. That's cool, I like that. I very much like that. I really want to do a bit of PvP in the next expansion. What if you don't like any of the loot rewards offered from your Great Vault? Well, there is an option for that. If you don't like your choices, you will be offered the option to take an important currency instead. Wow, okay, that's quite clever. That's quite clever indeed. So if I actually hate all of the gear that I'm offered, I can just take currency instead that I'm going to need for various different things. Currently on Shadowlands beta, the currency is 20 brimming anima reserve. Deposit a great amount of stored anima in your Covenant's reservoir. When deposited into your Covenant's reservoir, that amount to 500 reservoir, a measure of anima your Covenant has at its disposal, is the currency used for most things related to Covenant, including Sanctum's upgrading, the anima conductor system, and Covenant cosmetic items. Okay, so if you're just like purely focusing on cosmetics, you can literally just get this and then upgrade your anima conductor system. That's clever. Okay, that's awesome, guys. I really like how this Great Vault works, and I think it's great because it pushes people to do lots of different varieties of content. So obviously, depending on what class you are, you might want to get like PvP gear, or you might want to get Mythic Dungeon gear, or you might want to just go for raids. It just depends on what type of character player you are, and it's the same for all this. I like that you've got all the varieties and you've got clear set objectives to reach towards instead of just world quests and daily quests. You actually have things to work towards constantly. That's really good to see, and I'm very, very excited. What are your thoughts on the Great Vault? I would love to hear what you think about it, and I will see you in the next video. Remember to smash that like button, click subscribe, hit the bell icon, and leave me a comment. See you guys later. This is Erosium, out.